on these predictions, which almost all turned out to be false. So I did the thing that I think all adults should do when confronted with their own failure. I went pheasant hunting for 3 days. No, I did. I literally did. I went to South Dakota and stood in the cold, walked through cornfields. I did. And there was a ton going on, and I did it anyway. And I never take time off because I like my job, but I did. And I did it because I needed some silence in which to marinate in my shame. Because I knew out of that would come enlightenment, or at least the beginning of it. And here's what I concluded. A couple of things. This was a fantastic reminder that we can't really predict events very well as people, actually. There is a limit to our insight about the future, to our predictive powers. That's not a limitation of talk show hosts or of people who come to Turning Point. That is a human limitation that every person is bound by because, repeat after me, we are not God. So we actually don't know what the future holds, actually. And not to be morbid, but we could all get hit by a bus on the way out of this building. And pray God we won't be, but we could be. And that's a truth that we live with every day, and if we're wise, we never forget it. We don't know what's coming. We control the moment we're living in now, and that's it, and barely even that. We have less power than we think. We can't even cure male pattern baldness, okay? No, it's true. It's true. Or add a single hair to the top of our heads, in other words. So to tell ourselves, like, we've got it all figured out, and we know what's going to happen, we are lying to ourselves, and when we say it out loud, we're lying to others and misleading them. So we should start with the knowledge of our own limitations. We are limited, and that is the beginning of wisdom, right there. That's the beginning of wisdom. And the opposite of that, by the way, is the beginning of hubris, which is the cause of virtually all the suffering now currently on display. People who don't understand their own limitations, who don't understand how unwise they are, who have no sense of their own ridiculousness, who really believe they've got it all figured out, and only if we can get a bigger supercomputer and more AI, we'll have the future mapped. People who make that claim, and worse, who believe it, have made the fatal error in life, which is mistaking themselves for God. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the division in life. There's clearly, and you can smell it, and I should say at the outset that I was raised an Episcopalian, so my spiritual discernment is blunted at best. So don't take any theological lecture from me, please. I stayed with that church till 2 years ago. That's how out of it I am. And it's like fully a pagan enterprise now. Like, literally, I think they're burning calves they've slaughtered or something at the altar. But I can feel that a lot of people just in my orbit, and I see it in conversation. I'm not sure there's like some great revival going on, but there is a growing sense that we can't see everything that's happening. There are other forces at work here. That's not a sectarian point. I'm not making a case for Christianity, though I could and would be happy to, but I probably don't need to here. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm not making a point about a specific religion. I'm making a point about the existence of something more powerful than us. And that shouldn't be a point that anyone would have to make because it's just so obvious. You're born knowing that. Every person has inborn, literally at birth, a sense of justice, of right and wrong, a sense that betraying other people, lying to them, stealing from them, hurting them is wrong. The fine points we are taught, but the basic facts we know, they arrive like a dog's ability to swim. Like we're born with it. Now, why are we born with that? And it's always the same. You can read Hammurabi's Code, you know, one of the first documents we have in all of history, and you would recognize the moral code right away. You might not agree with all of it. Now, the beheadings seem a little much. But the crimes are still crimes. Because it never changes, because we didn't write the rules. Duh. So what does that tell you? It tells you there's something bigger than us. And that's never something that most people at most periods in history, in fact, at any period in history, have ever needed to learn. Because they knew it. It was assumed. There's never been, in other words, just to put a fine point on it, there has never been a society at scale in all history that we know of until now that was secular.